A dire warning this morning from climate experts. A UN panel says governments around the world must take rapid action to curb rising temperatures, or else millions around the world face future disaster. Margaret Evans joins us in London with more. So, Margaret, what can you tell us about this study?
Well, they're basically saying that the very livability of our planet is at stake, not in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, but right now. It's kind of a progress report on what was agreed in terms of the Paris Accord when when governments met in Paris and agreed on targets to try to keep global warming contained to 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. They're saying if they want to come anywhere close to meeting that target, then they need to do things now to drastically reduce carbon emissions, greenhouse gases in the next 10 years. And if they don't, they say, we're going to start to see things like the loss of the coral reefs. And even, half a little percentage point can mean life or death in these instances. We're talking about low-lying coastal states, whether or not they can survive increased levels of ocean rising. We're talking about the extinction potentially of species. And that's why they're saying it is so crucial that these warnings are heeded now. If not, we're going to see more abnormal weather. They're saying that abnormal has become the new normal, if you like, and especially in northern hemisphere countries like Canada, you're seeing rising temperatures, potentially more forest fires, but all the things that we're seeing in terms of the climate, flooding, drought, they're saying you're just going to get more of that, and that it could, in fact, impact the future of our planet for future generations. But now, they're saying, is the time to act.
And of course, it's not just governments that need to take steps. We're also hearing that individuals can help. So what are some things that people can do?
Well, they're certainly not taking the pressure off the governments. They're saying that's where we have to have the leadership from. In terms of things like, remember, we talked a lot about emission capture technology. They say that there's been no investment in that. That's still untried. So all of that has to happen. But what they're saying is that things are so bad that they do need a really broad spectrum of effort, from individuals like you and me, all the way up to government, to the private sector, and that there are acts that we as consumers can be taking and making to put pressure on the government. So more electric cars that will help reach, renewable energy, sustainable renewable energy targets down the road. What about eating meat? Because the livestock industry is a big, greenhouse gas emission producer. They're saying we need to be thinking about these kinds of things as a society as we go forward. But they are also saying that the other thing that you can do is pressure your governments to take these warnings from scientists seriously. And as you know, we have the U.S. President, Donald Trump, who is saying he's going to be taking the United States out of the Paris Accord. That's led to a great deal of criticism. As this report comes out, we saw the former UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon has written today saying that this report proves that in terms of pulling the United States out of the climate change accord, Donald Trump will be on the wrong side of history. So very, very stark warnings indeed coming out of this report.
All right. Thank you for this, Margaret.